Om Ghananam Tva Ghanapati Gunhavamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anakshranvannoti Biksi Dasadanam Deva Deva Mahadeva Devanam Abhayaprada Brahmanarayanendradi Sarvadeva Padaprada Samba Shivaya Namaha. Hi all. So Rama Jayanti is coming on March 30th, 2023. So I thought of revisiting the lectures on Rama Jayanti that I had already given. I had already covered a few lectures on Rama Jayanti, describing how Rama worshipped Mahadeva to get rid of all his sins, and how Rama is always wearing the sacred ash, and he always worships Mahadeva, and Rama breaks the bow of Lord Shiva by the grace of Mahadeva. Only by the grace of Mahadeva he breaks the bow, and he is always wearing the basma, that is the sacred ash. And also Shiva Namam is described as the Taraka Mantram and not Rama Namam. So, and a few months back also I had uploaded a Stuti that was sung by Rama to Lord Shiva, which is present in the Padma Purana Srishti Kanda 38th chapter. I had sung that Stuti. Since we have Rama Jayanti coming in 4 days, I thought of expanding on the Stuti, giving a detailed lecture on the Stuti. So before I deep dive into the Stuti, recently I had uploaded 2 lectures in Tamil language. So some people in the comment section, they were asking whether, I'll be uploading lectures in English or not in the future. So definitely, this channel, majorly English lectures will be uploaded. Initially, I had a separate channel for other languages. Then I thought it will be very difficult for me to maintain. So that's why I'm planning to upload all the lectures in various languages in this channel. But majorly lectures will be given in English. And 11 months back I had published my first book in English, and also a few months back, 4 months back, I had published the same book, my first book on Lord Shiva, in Hindi language. So you will see various things uploaded in this channel in different languages, but majorly it will be in English language. So I think no one need to worry about it. So let's start off with the Stuti. Namaste Deva Devesha Bhaktanam Abhayankara Gauri Kanta Namastubhyam Daksha Yajna Vinashana. Namaste Deva Devesha. That's what Rama says. He starts off the song of praise as Deva Devesha. Now, Deva Devesha means the Lord of all the Devatas. Isha means the Lord. So, who is the Lord or who is the Bhagavan of all the Devatas? Now, among the Devatas, we have Brahma, Indra, Chandra, Agni, Varuna, Vayu, etc. Even Vishnu or Narayana is considered as a Devata. So, he is the Lord. Mahadeva is described as the Lord of all the Devatas. That's why he is called as Deva Devesha. There is no one equal to him. There is no one greater than him. And Shvetashvatara Upanishad confirms this fact by saying, Tam Ishwaranam Paramam Maheshwaram, Tam Devatanam Paramam Cha Daivatam. So he is the Ishvara of all the Ishvaras, and he is the God of all the Devatas, the one who doesn't have anyone equal to him, or the one who doesn't have anyone greater than him. And some people might think, might provide references related to Harihara. I have already deep dived into the Harihara concept. Harihara is basically a manifestation of Mahadeva himself. It doesn't mean that Vishnu is equal to Shiva. From the Shaivite perspective, we always consider Vishnu as a Jivatma. But at the same time, he is a great devotee of Mahadeva. In many places in the scriptures, we see where Vishnu expresses his humble nature, and also he expresses his true devotion to Mahadeva. He is a great devotee of Mahadeva. But from the Shaivite perspective, we consider him to be also a Jiva Tattva. He belongs to the Jivatma category. Shiva alone is the supreme soul. Harihara basically means that it's Para Shakti and Parama Shiva together. So Vishnu is described as having the partial manifestation of Uma. So that's why you see there are places where Harihara comes in the Puranas, but that should be understood as Parvati and Parameshwara, and doesn't mean that Vishnu is equal to Shiva. And there are many other places where comparing Vishnu with Mahadeva is like comparing the glowworm with the sun, is spoken of in the Sutta Samhita, Brahma Gita, 6th chapter, 54th verse. It describes that comparing Hari with Lord Shiva is like comparing a glowworm with the sun. One has to correlate all the references and then come to a conclusion. So Deva Devesha always refers to Mahadeva. Mahadeva is the one and only Supreme Lord. He is the only one and the super one, the one who doesn't have anyone equal to him or anyone greater than him. So this reminds me of another place where in the Padma Purana, Patala Kanda, 105th chapter, 192nd verse, Vishnu says, Namaste Deva Devesha Namaste Shashvatavyaya Najane Habhavam Tambos Tvam Chavetsi Namo Namaha. There also Vishnu says, Deva Devesha, oh, you are the Lord of all the Devatas, the superior one, you are the supreme. Shashvata, you are eternal. Everybody are ephemeral, including Brahma and Vishnu, everybody are bound to destruction one day or the other. But Mahadeva exists, has been existing, he will be existing, and he is currently existing. So he has been there in the past, present and future, the only one who doesn't have birth. So who is the birthless personality? So Vishnu also uses this word Namaste Deva Devesha in the same Padma Purana. So we say Vishnu, we see that Vishnu says Lord Shiva is God. Krishna says Lord Shiva is God. Rama says Lord Shiva is God. Narasimha says Lord Shiva is God. And everybody, all the Devatas like Brahma, Indra, Agni, Varuna, Vayu accept that Lord Shiva is the supreme, ultimate supreme God. And Mahadeva also attests that fact. He says in the Atharvashiras Upanishad, Aham Ekaha Pratamaha. I am the one without a second. Ekaha, I am that supreme one. Pratamaha, I am the first of all. Agriyayacha Pratamayacha. So he is the first and he is the superior one, and he is the only supreme reality. So Lord Shiva also says, I am the supreme reality. So Deva Devesha, so basically he is the Lord of all the Devatas and he is the Lord of all the superior ones. Bhaktanam Abhayankara, he protects everybody. So in the form of Nataraja, we see Mahadeva in the right lower hand, he is blessing. He is showing his Abhaya Mudra, which means he is blessing everybody. He is protecting, he is the protector of everybody, all the Devatas and Danavas. So there are various examples, like when the demons, when they created havoc and tried to destroy the entire universe, Mahadeva comes and then saves them. So we usually refer to Vishnu, as saving the Devatas from the demons with the help of the Sudarshana Chakra. But the Sudarshana Chakra itself was given by Mahadeva to Vishnu. We see that. Harivamsha Puranam, 3rd canto, 84th chapter, 11th verse. It says, Yatralebe Harischakram Upasya Bahubirdinaihi Pushkarai Shatapatraischa Netrenacha Jagatpatim. The Supreme Reality Mahadeva was worshipped by Hari with lotuses, and he obtained the Sudarshana Chakra from Mahadeva. And this fact has been told everywhere. The Shiva Purana, Linga Purana, Skanda Purana, Padma Purana, Narada Purana. In the Narada Purana, Uttara Bhaga, 73rd chapter, 105th verse, where Jaimini Maharshi states, Murari Netrarchita Pada Padma. Murari is the name of Vishnu. So Murari worshipped you, O Mahadeva. Murari worshipped you with his eyes. Murari Netra Archita Pada Padma. Murari, that is Vishnu, worshipped you with his eyes, and he offered that as a lotus to your feet, and he obtained the Sudarshana Chakra. And this is also told in Padma Purana, Mahabharata, everywhere, and even in Vamana Puranam this is stated, and Kurma Purana. So if Vishnu destroys the demons with the help of the Sudarshana Chakra, that happens by the grace of Mahadeva only. And the famous account of the Halahala poison. You know, no one was able to save the universe at that time from the Halahala poison. So it is described that Vishnu turned black on account of the Halahala poison, and Vaikuntham was destroyed. If I remember correctly, it's present in the Skanda Mahapurana, Maheshwara Kanda, Kedara Kanda, 9th chapter, 9th and 10th chapter deals with this. And there it says, Vaikuntham cha dadahacha. Vaikuntham was burning in flames, literally. And Vishnu had turned black, dark on account of the Halahala poison. And this is also stated in various places like the Brahmanda Puranam, Matsya Puranam, Skanda Puranam, Vayu Puranam, etc. And I have detailed about this in one of my lectures, Brahmanda Purana Stuti. I have detailed about this in two of my lectures in my channel. One can check it out. So he is the Bhaktanam Abhayankara. He is the protector of all the devotees. And that's what Rudram also says. He protects everybody. He is the ultimate protector. So he is the protector of even Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, Lakshmi, Saraswati, etc. And also he protects his devotees. So Gauri Kanta Namastubhyam Daksha Yajna Vinashana. Gauri Kantam. So Gauri Kanta. So which means he is the Lord or the husband of Gauri. So Gauri word comes in the Mahanarayana Upanishad. Subhagayai vidmahe kamalamalinyai dhimahi tanno Gauri prachodayat. It comes. So we see the reference of the word Uma very often mentioned in the Upanishads and the Puranas. So Namas Soma Yacha, which means Shiva plus Uma is Soma. That comes in Rudram. Somam Amritam comes in the Atharva Shiras Upanishad. Soma Loka comes in the Atharva Shika Upanishad. Uma Sahayam Parameshwaram Prabhum, which comes in the Kaivalya Upanishad. Mahanarayana Upanishad says Umapati Ambikapati. Nrisimhatapani Upanishad, which is actually a glorification of Mahadeva and not the Tamasika Narasimha. So there, in that Upanishad also there is a reference to Uma, Umapati, Ambikapati. Uma also comes in the Kena Upanishad, Umagum Haimavati. So Uma very often comes for Mata, Ambika, Gauri also comes. So he is the husband of that supreme goddess at the end of the day. And she is the giver of the knowledge of Mahadeva. She is not supremely independent. Mahadeva is the ultimate independent Lord. So she is dependent on Mahadeva and she is also the supreme goddess, definitely, no doubt. She doesn't belong to the Jiva Tattva category. She is the supreme goddess, definitely. But she is there to give the knowledge of Mahadeva. So if someone says, oh, I will worship Uma, I will worship Ambika Mata, but I will not worship Shiva, then even Mata will not be satisfied with those words. Because she is worshipped ultimately to get the knowledge of Mahadeva. The mother introduces the son or daughter to the father, right? So she is there to give the knowledge of Mahadeva. Namastubhyam. Again and again, that word, the Nama word comes. And Rudram also uses the word Nama very often for Mahadeva. The most used word, the most used word for a person in the entire Veda is for Lord Shiva. Nama is actually where I offer my prostrations or I offer my obeisances. I worship you. So that's what. So that is very often used for Mahadeva only in the Vedas and Upanishads and also in the Puranas. Daksha Yajna Vinashana. Now this is quite interesting because we see Daksha Yajna. Daksha was one of the very arrogant personalities mentioned. He was a hater of Mahadeva. And this story of Daksha is spoken of in all the Puranas. Mahabharatam Shanti Parvam describes about this Daksha Yajna and how he finally surrenders to Mahadeva and then glorifies Mahadeva with 1,000 names, which comes in the Mahabharata Shanti Parva 285th chapter. It also comes in the Brahma Purana, it also comes in the Vamana Purana and also in the Vayu Purana. This Sahasranamam sung by Daksha is quite interesting. the number of Sahasranamams that are available for Shiva are more in number when compared to Vishnu or the Divine Mother or Ganapati or Kartikeya or anybody. So here it says Daksha Yajna Vinashana, who destroyed the Daksha Yajna. So Daksha was completely bound by anger, and in the sacrifice that he was conducting, he invited everybody in the entire universe, including Vishnu, Lakshmi and Saraswati and Brahma, except for Para Shakti and Parama Shiva. He invited everybody. Even the Kala Rudras were there. Now I'll come to that later, but an important point to be noted. So except for Uma Maheshwara, everybody were invited. But the Vedas describe that Shiva is the Lord of all the yajnas. Avo Rajana Madvarasya. So he is the Raja, means he is the king of all the yajnas. So when you are conducting something, like very important, you have to notify the king definitely. The king of the country should be notified. The king of the universe is Mahadeva. So when Daksha was conducting a very important yajna or a sacrifice, he was doing a sacrifice, at that time he did not invite the Supreme Lord and the Supreme Goddess. And he was very arrogant in nature. He said, Vishnu, I have Vishnu here, who is protecting me. I don't need anyone. So that was his words to Dadichi Maharshi, who comes there and then he sees, he looks at everybody and then he sees, Maheshwara is not here. The divine, the Supreme Goddess, Uma, is also not here. So, for what are you conducting this yajna without having Uma and Maheshwara? And to that, Daksha was always arrogant in nature. We know that. And to that he replies, you see these 11 Rudras present here? So the 11 Rudras, I have the 11 Rudras. I do not know about the Maheshwara or Shiva that you are talking about. So this actually, one of the things that we can learn from here is the 11 Rudras are completely different from Maheshwara. So which also I have explained in my channel, the difference between Kala Rudra and Parama Shiva. I'm planning to detail that in my second book too. To some extent I have explained that in my first book, one can check it out, and also in my other lectures. So the 11 Rudras appear for performing the task of destruction, but Lord Shiva is actually the doer of 5 activities. He does actually the creation, maintenance, destruction, putting the jivas into illusion, and then also giving grace, that is liberation. He is the Lord of all the 3. Trayanam Janakam Prabhum. Brihajabala Upanishad describes, he is the Lord of the 3. He is the creator of Brahma, Narayana and Rudra. So that should be very well understood, because the 11 Rudras are not Parama Shiva. Parama Shiva is different from the 11 Rudras. We also see in Vamana Purana, there is a reference, and Matsya Purana, where the 11 Rudras are described as participating in the marriage of Parvati and Parameshwara. So which means, if someone says the 11 Rudras are Lord Shiva, then who is actually Parvati getting married to? It is described that the 11 Rudras are participating in the marriage of Parvati and Parameshwara, which is explained in the Matsya Puranam 154th chapter, and Vamana Puranam also details about this. So this clearly describes that the 11 Rudras are completely different from the Supreme Lord Shiva, different from Umapati, Ambikapati. And likewise you see Bhagavad Gita also says in the 10th chapter, 23rd verse, Rudranam Shankaras Chasmi. And Bhagavad Gita is also the words of Lord Shiva. I have discussed that very much in detail in my lectures. I have given a 7-hour lecture also on Bhagavad Gita, which is split into 14 parts. One can check it out, which is available in the playlists in my channel. So Bhagavad Gita is verily the form of Shiva only. So where there is a place where it says Rudranam Shankaras Chasmi, there it refers only to the 11 Rudras. And also in the 11th chapter 6th verse also there is a reference to Rudra. Rudras are actually a part of the Vishwaroopam that is shown. And the Vishwaroopam is that of Maheshwara only. Vishwaroopam is shown by Maheshwara. Trishtavanasi tam devam vishvaksham vishvatomukam pratyakshamaiva sarvesham rudram sarvajaganmayam jnanam tad aishwaram divyam yathavat viditam tvaya swayameva hrishikeshak prityovacha sanatanaha. Vyasacharya himself says that to Arjuna in the Kurma Purana, 1st canto, 30th chapter, 60th and the 61st verse, it was by the grace of Hrishikesha, it was by the grace of Vishnu that you saw the divine, supreme, universal form of Maheshwara, O Arjuna. And there are many other references which I have detailed, one can check it out. So there, like Daksha Yajna Vinashana. So there Daksha says, oh, I have these 11 Rudras, but I do not know about the Maheshwara that you are talking about. So he replies to Dadichi Maharshi in a very arrogant way, and to that Dadichi Maharshi says, this sacrifice will not attain completion. So without inviting the king of the sacrifice, rather Daksha could have done one thing. He could have invited Uma and Maheshwara and discarded everybody. In that way, his sacrifice would have attained completion. But he did the opposite. He did the opposite. He invited every creature, everybody, even the creatures, and everybody came, and all the devatas came. Indra, Chandra, Agni, Varuna, Vayu, Brahma, Vishnu, Lakshmi, Saraswati, etc. Everybody came. He invited everybody, but he failed to invite the supreme God and the supreme goddess, that is Ambika Mata and Parameshwara. And because of which Veerabhadra appears from the hair locket of Maheshwara and destroys the Daksha Yajna. So just as Shiva Gana, Veerabhadra is also a Shiva Gana. He is not Shiva himself. That is another thing. He comes from the hair locket of Mahadeva and he is waiting for the orders of Mahadeva, so that he can take that order and then accomplish whatever Mahadeva desires. So Shiva Gana himself is enough to destroy the entire universe and also to destroy even Brahma and Vishnu. Shiva doesn't need to come. Veerabhadra, Kala Bhairava, they themselves are enough, more than enough. Even the Shiva Ganas are much greater than Brahma or Vishnu. So that's about Daksha Yajna Vinashana. And now, moving to the next verse. Namo Bhavaya Sharvaya Rudraya Varadaya Cha Pashunam Pataye Nityam Chograya Cha Kapardine. This is quite interesting because this verily matches with the verses in Rudram that comes in the Vedas for Lord Shiva. Namo Bhavaya Cha Rudraya Cha Namak Sharvaya Cha Pashupataye Cha Namo Nila Grivaya Cha Shitikantaya Cha Namak Kapardine Cha Vyupta Keshaya Cha. The 5th Anuvakam of Rudram, which comes in the Shukla Yajurvedam and Krishna Yajurvedam. Quite interesting. So, Namo Bhavaya. Bhava means the cause of creation. Verily these names that come in the 5th Anuvakam of Rudram itself describes Mahadeva as actually the doer of 5 activities. Panchakritya niyantaram, pancha brahmatmakam brigat, pancha brahmopasamharam, kritva swatmani samstitaha. Pancha Brahmopanishad states. Panchakrityeshwara, Katha Rudropanishad states, he is the Lord of 5. He is the Lord of 5 activities. Always the number 5 is correlates with Mahadeva only. If you see the fingers that you have in the hand are 5. The fingers in the legs are 5. We say Pancha Bhutas, that is the earth, water, fire, air and ether. Mahadeva is described as having 5 heads. Sadhyojata Vamadeva Aghora Tatpurusha Ishana. He is the creator, maintainer, destroyer, and he does Tirobhavam and also he does Anugraham. And then the number of aksharams that glorify him, Nama Shivaya, which is in the center of the Vedas, that is also 5. It has 5 aksharas. So the 5 is always related to Mahadeva. And the Panchamukha Swarupam is actually verily the form of Bhagavad Gita, which is explained in the 175th chapter of the Padma Purana Uttarakanda. The Bhagavad Gita is actually Shiva Swarupam. So discarding Mahadeva, even if you master the 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita, there is no point, because Mahadeva is the Tatparyam of Bhagavad Gita. So Bhavaya, going back to Bhavaya, which means he is the cause of creation. He is the one who creates. maintains and destroys. Sharvaya, which means who is the destroyer. Through Brahma he creates, through Narayana he protects, and through Kala Rudra he destroys. He is the creator of these three. Hriditvamasi yo nityam tisro matraha parastu saha. Atharvashiras Upanishad. The Devatas describe Mahadeva as being beyond the three states of consciousness. You are beyond, Vaishvanara Taijasa Prajna Turiyam. Turiyam is the fourth state. Likewise, Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra are created from Mahadeva. Brahmanam Vamato Harim. So, Brahma is created from the right limb of Mahadeva. Narayana is created from the left limb. Narayana is created from the left limb of Mahadeva. Rudra is created from the heart of Mahadeva. This is spoken of in various Puranas, like Brahmanda Puranam, Kurma Puranam, Vayu Puranam, Matsya Puranam, Vamana Puranam, Padma Puranam also talks about this, so etc. And also Brihad Jabala Upanishad. Trinetram Trigunadaram Trayanam Janakam Prabhum. Trayanam Janakam, he is the creator of the three, and he is described having three eyes also. So he is, he is the destroyer also. And Rudraya Varadaya cha. Rudra is also quite interesting. The Rudra means the one who removes all the sins. So when the fifth Anuvakam states, Namo Bhavaya cha Rudraya cha Namaksharvaya cha Pashupataye cha Namo Neelagrivaya cha. So these four names itself describe that he is the doer of five activities. Bhava means the cause of creation. Sharva means the destroyer. Rudra means the one who liberates, the one who removes the sorrows of the living beings. And it can be described as giving liberation. And Pashupataye. Pashupati means, can be understood, that he is actually the protector, that he is the protecting all the jivatmas, he is protecting all the individual souls. It can also be understood as doing Tirobhavam, which means putting the jivas into illusion. Mayam tu prakritim vidyam, mayinam tu Maheshwaram. So Mayin is Maheshwara, the Supreme Lord is called as Mayin. He is the controller of Maya, and all the jivatmas are under that Maya Shakti of Lord Shiva, Tirobhavam. So in that way we can understand that fifth Anuvakam of Rudram clearly matches with the Stuti that Rama sings here for Lord Shiva. So, and Rudram is verily dedicated to Mahadeva alone. It doesn't glorify anybody. There are no Upabrahmanams supporting facts. You always understand the Vedas and Upanishads with the help of the Puranic statements. Only with the help of the Puranic statements you can understand, and not otherwise. So that being the case, there are more than 200 supporting facts are present that Rudram is dedicated only to Mahadeva. Rudram is sung for Lord Shiva. Krishna sings Rudram for Mahadeva. Rama sings Rudram for Mahadeva. Narasimha sings Rudram for Mahadeva in the Linga Purana, 1st canto, 96th chapter. So in no way that this Rudram, which is the essence of the Vedas, which is in the center of the Vedas, it is not glorifying any other Devata. It is glorifying the one and only Supreme Lord Mahadeva. It is not glorifying the Tamasika Narasimha, or it is not glorifying Rama, who was bound by sins. And Rama accepts that in the Valmiki Ramayanam, Aranya Kandam, 63rd chapter. Now he says, "O Lakshmana, I have been bound by sins. Due to my past misdeeds, I have lost my dear Sita." So he accepts that he is bound by karma. And it is not glorifying Krishna also. It is glorifying the Supreme Lord Maheshwara, who is beyond sins and virtues. That's why he is described, Mahadeva in the beginning, he is described as Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu Raghor Apapakashini. Apapakashini, who is beyond sins at the end of the day. So it cannot glorify someone who is bound by ego or who is bound by sins. Nrisimha was bound by ego from head to toe. After destroying Hiranyakashipu, he wasn't able to control his anger because he was bound by that Pashutvam at the end of the day. And Mahadeva had to appear as Sharabeshwara and tear his skin and wear it as a garment. So that's why he's called as Kritivasa. This word Kritivasa also comes in the Vedas. Meedushtam Shivatam Shivona Sumana Bhava Parame Vriksha Ayudan Nidaya Kritim Vasana Acharapina Kambibradagahi. Kritim Vasana. It comes in the Krishna Yajurvedam, Taittiriya Samhita, 4th canto, 5th chapter, in the 10th Anuvakam. And this also comes in the Krishna Yajurvedam, Taittiriya Samhita, 1st canto, 8th chapter, 6th verse. And twice again in the Shukla Yajurvedam, Vajasaneyi Samhita, 16th chapter, 51st verse. And also in the 3rd chapter, 60th and the 61st verse. Very important. Kritim Vasana comes 4 times, which literally means that he is wearing the skin of an animal as a garment. So this can be interpreted in many ways, but it is the Upabrahmanam, the supporting fact for this, is present in the Shiva Purana and Linga Purana, where Lord Shiva is described as Nrisimha Kritivasana. He tore the skin of Narasimha and wore it as a hide, wore it as a garment. So Shiva Purana, Shatarudra Samhita, 12th chapter, 36th verse, and also in the Linga Purana, 1st canto, 96th chapter, 115th verse, this reference is there. So as I said before, understanding the Vedas and Upanishads with the help of the Puranas is really important. So going back to what I was saying, these Rudram verses are not glorifying anybody apart from Maheshwara. The entire Veda is connected to Mahadeva only. It doesn't glorify anybody. So that understanding should be there.